Think about the last time you told yourself you'd start tomorrow. The diet, the conversation, the project, the decision you've been avoiding for weeks, maybe months. You told yourself you were waiting for the right time, the right moment, the right feeling. But here's what they don't understand. Waiting is not patience. Waiting is a prison you build for yourself, and you call it wisdom. Beat. Pause. The Stoics knew something about this that most people never discover. They didn't wait for clarity. They didn't wait for confidence. They didn't wait for permission. They acted, even when the ground shook beneath them, even when doubt screamed inside them. Because the Stoic understands something fundamental about human life. The perfect moment is not something you find. It is something you forge. Pause. Shift tone. Slower, more deliberate. In this video, you will learn 5 Stoic principles that destroy the habit of waiting. Principles used by Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus to transform hesitation into relentless action. Don't skip any part of this video. Each principle builds on the last. Consider subscribing, not for my sake, but for your own journey toward mental clarity. Each video is a tool. Use it. Affirmation. Drop. Number 1. I do not wait. I act. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I do not wait. I act. Let these words become your declaration. Principle 1. The illusion of the perfect moment. Principle number 1. The perfect moment is a fiction. Most people live their entire lives standing at the edge of a decision, waiting for conditions to be ideal. They wait until they feel ready, until they have more information, until the fear subsides. But here's the truth the Stoics understood. That moment never arrives. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it." Think about it. How many opportunities have you watched disappear because you were waiting for a sign that never came? How many conversations went unsaid? How many dreams remained dreams because the timing was never quite right? What most people do is confuse preparation with procrastination. They tell themselves they're being strategic, when in reality they are being controlled by fear. But here's what the Stoic does instead. They act with imperfect information. They move before they feel ready. Not because they are reckless, but because they understand that action itself creates clarity. This isn't about being impulsive. It's about recognizing that the door to change only opens when you push it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to live. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." Concrete action. The next time you catch yourself saying, "I'll start when," replace it with, "I'll start now and I'll adjust as I go." One sentence, one step, one decision. That is how the Stoic breaks the spell of the perfect moment. Principle 2. The struggle is not the enemy, it is the path. Principle number 2. The struggle is not the obstacle, it is the way. Most people run from difficulty. They see struggle as a signal that something is wrong, that they've made a mistake, that they should turn back. But the Stoics saw struggle differently. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." And what does struggle teach? It teaches what comfort never can. Resilience, patience, the kind of strength that does not bend when the world pushes against it. Think about the last time you faced something difficult. Your instinct was to escape, to find the easier path, to reduce the friction. But what most people don't understand is this. The friction is the growth. Without resistance, there is no transformation. A blade is sharpened by the stone, not by silk. What the Stoic does is lean into the difficulty, not because they enjoy suffering, but because they understand that every challenge they face is a forge, and they are the metal being shaped into something unbreakable. This is what I call the forge principle, the conscious decision to walk toward difficulty instead of away from it. Concrete action. Identify one thing you've been avoiding because it's hard. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Face it for 10 minutes. Just 10. That is how the Stoic transforms struggle into strength. If this message is resonating with you, like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear it. It helps more than you know. Principle 3. You are the architect of your own fortune. Principle number 3. Your fortune is not written by fate. It is built by your hands. This is not a motivational slogan. This is a philosophical truth the Stoics lived by. Most people surrender authorship of their lives. They believe their circumstances are dictated by luck, by background, by other people's opinions. They see themselves as passengers, not drivers. But the Stoic rejects this completely. Seneca wrote, "Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant." What this means is devastatingly simple. You are either moving with intention, or you are being moved by forces you never chose. The person who waits for luck is a prisoner of chance. The person who takes responsibility for their direction, even when the path is uncertain, is the architect. This isn't about pretending you control everything. The Stoic knows the difference between what is within their power and what is not. But here's what they don't understand. Within that narrow space of things you do control, your responses, your decisions, your discipline, lies the entirety of your freedom. What the Stoic does is focus every ounce of energy on what they can control and release what they cannot. This is not passivity. This is precision. Concrete action. Write down 3 things you've been blaming on circumstances. Next to each one, write what you can do about it today, even if it's small. That shift from blame to agency is the moment you become the architect. Affirmation. Drop number 2. I am the architect. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am the architect. Own it. Let it settle into your bones. Principle 4. Meet every challenge as preparation, not punishment. Principle number 4. Every challenge is training, not punishment. Now, the smile is not denial. The smile is the Stoic's armor. Most people meet adversity with despair. They ask, why me? They interpret difficulty as evidence that the universe is against them, but the Stoic sees every challenge as the universe testing whether they are ready for the next level. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the central paradox of Stoic action. The obstacle is the path. The very thing blocking you is the thing that will strengthen you, if you let it. Think about it. The person who avoids every challenge remains fragile. The person who faces them becomes anti-fragile. They grow stronger from disorder. What most people do is shrink when the storm arrives. What the Stoic does is stand still in the rain and ask, what is this teaching me? This is what I call strategic reframing, the practice of transforming every setback into a curriculum, not to pretend pain doesn't exist, but to refuse to let pain exist without purpose. Concrete action. The next time something goes wrong, before you react, pause and ask yourself one question. What is this preparing me for? That single question rewires your entire relationship with adversity. Principle 5. The Stoic does not complain, the Stoic solves. Principle number 5. Complaining is the opposite of action. This is the most actionable principle of all, and the hardest to practice. Complaining is seductive. It feels like doing something. It feels like processing. It feels like connection, especially when others join in. But here's what most people don't understand. Complaining is a neurological trap. Every time you verbalize a complaint, you reinforce the neural pathway of helplessness. You train your brain to find problems instead of solutions. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The Stoic does not waste breath on what cannot be changed. They direct every word toward what can be changed. This isn't about suppressing emotion. The Stoic feels frustration, anger, disappointment, fully. But they do not let those feelings dictate their next move. What the Stoic does is convert complaint into action. "This is unfair" becomes, "What can I do about this?" "This is too hard" becomes, "What is the first step I can take?" That conversion, from complaint to solution, is the single most powerful mental shift a human being can make. This is what I call the solution reflex, the trained instinct to move from problem to action without dwelling in the space of helplessness. Concrete action. For the next 24 hours, catch every complaint before it leaves your mouth. Replace it with one specific action you can take, not a feeling. An action. That is how the Stoic turns frustration into fuel. Conclusion. Identity transformation. Let me bring these 5 principles together, because each one alone is powerful, but together they create something unbreakable. 1. The perfect moment is a fiction. You act now. 2. The struggle is not the enemy, it is the forge. 3. You are the architect, not the passenger. 4. Every challenge is preparation, not punishment. 5. You do not complain, you solve. When you live by these 5 principles, something fundamental shifts, not just in what you do, but in who you are. You are no longer someone who waits. You are someone who moves. You are no longer someone who avoids. You are someone who faces. You are no longer someone who complains. You are someone who solves. This is what it means to walk as the Stoic walks. Calm, steady, immovable. Not because the world stopped being difficult, but because you stopped being fragile. If this message resonated with you, like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel for more ancient wisdom that transforms modern lives. Choose reason. Choose discipline. Walk as the Stoic does. Steady, observant, unshakable.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Watch the next one here.